Hey, good day, good day. Today is the 16th, so I'm going to go over the assignments and the instruction that we did because we had a couple of students who weren't here today. So I want to make sure everyone has exactly what they need to succeed. All right, so Booyaka. Today, I start off every day. Make sure you have your paper and pencil ready. If you show me your paper and pencil, then you get 5 bonus points. Super easy, right? Just show me paper and a writing utensil, you know, and there you go. Now, the next thing, and I change this up every day, but this is what I had today. So if you draw this photo and show me the paper, that was 5 additional bonus points. So look, if you're seeing this later, after class, send me a screenshot, send me a picture, and I'll give you the 5 bonos. You know you like those bonos. I like the bonos. So this is a positive line. This is a negative line. This is a zero slope, right? And this is a undefined slope. So on your paper, just draw this and put the word positive, or you can just put the sign. Here you can put negative. On this one, you can actually just put a big zero. And then on this one, you can just type or write UND. And what does UND stand for? That stands for undefined. And I should probably type it correctly. Undefined. I may have spelled it incorrectly, but you understand what I'm talking about. We'll put that right here, undefined. Okay, and the reason we do that is because we want you to know the different types of slopes. We have basically 4 types of slopes: the positive slope, the negative slope, the undefined slope, and the zero slope. We also might use the word vertical, and one of the ways that I remember vertical is this is a V. That's a V. Yeah, and this is actually upside down V. All right, so V stands for vertical, and that's also undefined. You can also say it's a vertical line. So undefined and vertical, good stuff. That's what UND stands for, undefined. And that's the zero slope. So what's another word for zero slope? Horizontal. So that's the horizontal slope, all right? Or horizontal line. Good. So if you've drawn this picture, then you're going to get the bonus points. This is a video, so you might want to pause it now because I'm going to erase everything in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, and now let's go back to class. What was the next thing we worked on? Well, in our class, we do pre-teaching, which is teaching you something in advance, reteaching, teaching you something you should have done well on, and mind the gap. And mind the gap is the area where we work on things that you may not have done a really good job of learning. So let's do some reteaching. We did this in class, and this is actually one of the iExcel assignments you have. So look at this pictograph, and it says that each one of those is $10, and each half one is only $5. So what I tell you to do is when you have these type of pictographs, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 55, 55. Then this is 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 65. Okay. See, the half piece is only $5. And I guess you can put the dollar sign here if you want to put the dollar sign here. That's $65. That's a nice amount of money. All right, and this is 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60. So that's $60. All right, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80. That's a nice amount of money. Okay, yeah. And look, ooh, hold up, is that 80? Did I make a mistake? Did you catch the error? 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 75. Yep, that's 75. Somebody caught that. Hopefully you did. All right, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90. That's 90. And this is 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 55. Okay. Interestingly, Delaware and Wisconsin both have the same amount. Okay. All right. How much higher is the average cost of golf in Iowa? Iowa was 65 than in Wisconsin. Wisconsin is 55. Well, what's the difference in 55 and 65? When we use the word difference, difference means subtract. All right. So 65 minus 55 is $10 difference. There's a $10 difference. It costs $10 more in Iowa than in Wisconsin. As you see here, the correct answer is 10. I'm going to give you a few seconds to pause this or maybe write down this answer, because when you do your IXL assignment, this is actually the correct answer for this problem. All right. 4, 3, 2, 1. Good. Hopefully you can always stop the video. Look at this pictogram. And what pictograms and what we're doing here is really getting you to read a word problem and figure it out. So each plane is 2 flights. 2, 4, 6. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. Now, count along with me, make sure I don't mess up. 2, 4, 6, 8. Who do we appreciate? Mr. Varner. Yep, that's bonus points. All right, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. Mr. Varner does it again. Hopefully you get some more bonus points. Okay, all right, how many flights are there in all? So I'm gonna add 6 plus 12 plus 8 plus 10. So if I do this, 6 and 12, that's 18. Then I can add 8 and 10, that's 18. All right. 8 plus 8 is 16. Carry my 1. 1, 2, 3. So I have 36. 36, and the correct answer is 36. So this one said, how many flights are there in all? Key thing is you really had to make sure you read the question to find out what they wanted you to do. Okay, now here's the meat and potatoes. This is what we call pre-teach. This is what you'll be working on in your algebra class. All right. What we're going to work on is what's called slope intercept form. So this is slope intercept form. I'm going slow because I have to spell, and I'm not the best at spelling. I have some challenges there. All right, so what is slope intercept form? Well, slope intercept form is going to look like y equals mx plus b. Okay. All right. Now, here's the interesting information. All right. The m is your slope, right? And the b is your y-intercept. Intercept. Okay. Intercept. Hopefully I spelled that right. So if you can keep that in mind, that y is your slope intercept. I mean, that b is your slope intercept. Yeah, I messed it up. B is your y-intercept, and m is your slope. So let us continue. So we're dealing with slope intercept form. And as I said, the m is the slope, and the b is the y-intercept. Well, let's talk very quickly. All right, let's do some talking. Here is the y-axis. This line here is the y-axis. All right, this is the y-axis. All right, yep, put the letter Y, just to remind you, just to remind you. All right, and so if that's the y-axis, this is the x-axis. That's the x. That's the x-axis. And I want to make sure that I spell out the word. So it makes sense to you, okay? This is the y-axis, and this is the x-axis. So that's when I say axis, I mean, that's how it's spelled, okay? Good. So when we're looking for the y-intercept, the y-intercept is always going to be the point where our line here crosses the y-axis. And as you can see, that's right here. And on this graph, the y-intercept is right here. So that's the y-axis, and this line, that's where it crosses. On this line, that's where it crosses. Now, this line is a positive line. It goes up. This line is a negative line. It goes down. So let's do this. Let's find out what the y-intercept is for this one. Well, we just located it. This is the 0 point. So we went up 1 now. So that's going to be 0, 1. I'll put slashes through my zeros. Okay. All right. So on this one, what's the y-intercept? Well, that's the 0 point, and that's at 2. So the y-intercept in this case is 0, comma, 2. Well, let's look at the slope. Let's find out what the slope is. So right at the y-intercept, we have a point, right? And let's see if we can find another point where it's perfectly hitting these lines. The lines going up and down, and the lines going left and right. That's it right there. Here's another one right there, right? Okay, so we figured out where those other points are, and let's see, this is a positive line, so we're gonna go up 1, and then we'll go over 1, 2, 3. So the slope on this one was up 3 over 1. That's the slope. See, the slope is up and down on the numerator, and then on the denominator, the bottom part of the fraction, the slope is always a fraction. Up or down on the top, and on the bottom, it's to the right. So this one would be up 3 over 1. This one, since it's a negative number, is down 3 over 1. So keep in mind that a slope is always going to have a fraction. On the top, it'll have up or down, and on the bottom, it's to the right. So we started here, we went up 1, then we went over 3. 1, 2, 3. And let's practice just to be sure we're right. Oh, we go up 1, 1, 2, 3. Good. So our slope is 3 over 1. And if we were putting this in slope-intercept form, then for this one, we would write y equals 3 over 1 x plus, and what's our y-intercept? The y-intercept was right there, 1. Now, or we could even write it this way. Y equals 3x plus 1. So anytime you have a number over 1, like 9 over 1, it equals 9. It's the same thing. All right, it's the same thing. So if you see that, it's the same thing. Okay, so we answered this one. Let's answer number 2. Well, we've already done the y-intercept. Our y-intercept is right here at 2. Okay, so now we need to find out what the slope is. So this one is a negative line. It's a negative slope. So to get to the next point, where's the next point? Oh, here's a point right here. 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 All right, so we found our other points where this line hits the up and down and the left or right lines perfectly. Right there, right there, right there, Good stuff. Okay, so let's figure this out. It's a negative line. It goes down, so we're going to go down 1 over 1. So we went down 1 and we went over 1. And so -1 over 1 is -1. So the slope-intercept form for this will be y equals -1 x. And what's our y-intercept? It's 2. So for our slope, once again, we already figured that out. It's -1 over 1. Okay, good. So now we've done that. Good stuff. Good stuff. Good stuff. So let's try one more with this slope intercept form. So what is this form called? What do you think? That's the y-intercept. What's the m stand for? What's the m stand for? Slope. Bingo. And what do we call this equation style, this formation? Slope-intercept form. Good stuff. Hopefully you got all three right. All right, this tells us to sketch the line with a slope -1/2 and a y-intercept of -1. So our y-intercept is going to be -1. Now, here's 0, here's -1. Why did I say here's 0? Because I just want you to know where your point of origin is. So that's -1. That's your y-intercept of -1, okay? So it asks to draw a line with a slope -1 over 2. So -1 over 2 is a slope. So a negative slope means that my line is going to go, it's going to go down. It's going to go down. That's a negative line. All right. So I go down 1 and I go over 2. 1, 2. So that's going to be the point for my next space right here. Matter of fact, I can do the same thing again just to be sure. Go down 1. So that's where I can put a third spot. I can put a third spot right there. Matter of fact, whoop, wrong one. I'll put a heart there. That's crazy. Okay. And now it says to sketch a line. So I'm going to sketch a line that goes right through all three of those. I think I'll use a different color. My line is going through all three of those. Yeah. All right, so I did this. I sketched the line. It has a slope of -1/2 and y-intercept of -1. So what would the slope-intercept form look like? It would look like this. Y equals, what's the slope? -1 over 2, down 1 over 2, x plus, what's the it's y-intercept? It's -1. So I can do this. That would be right. But most of your teachers are going to want to see it look a little different. So we can do this. And that would be right too. Y equals -1/2 x minus 1. That would be your slope-intercept form. Okay. All right. Let us move. So this is what we worked on so far. We did this, we did this, we did this, and we did slope-intercept form with them. So in class, I reminded you that we have a nice video here, and you can watch this video, and I actually teach you all about the slope-intercept form. Everything that we just learned, I give you a video so you can review it, at home with your family and learn everything that you want to learn. Because this is going to help you in your algebra class. Now, the next thing that we did is we went to iExcel and we did these assignments. All right. So I decided that I didn't like HH10. I made that decision, so you don't have to do HH10. So even though it's on your Canvas card, it might not be there tomorrow. You don't have to do HH10. I don't like the way it turned out. So what we ended up doing was we went to R11. Now these are the mind the gap assignments. Finish these before April 2nd. These assignments give you your grade in the report in your report card. So let's go to R11, which is what we did in class today. All right. If you make a 70%, you can stop. But if you make an 80%, I'll give you a bonus 20% and give you 100%. So watch this. This is what we worked on in class today. Okay. So when you see a situation like this, we remember that we're working on distribution, and distribution means that you're going to share. So if I say distribute these pencils to everybody in the class, you're going to give everybody in class a pencil, right? So in this case, we're going to distribute the number that's outside of the parentheses to everything on here, and we're going to multiply. So 2 times 1, which is 2, and then 2 times b. We don't know what b is, but it's a positive b. So we're going to say 2 times 2b. So that's going to be your answer. 2 plus 2b. So here you're going to type in 2 plus 2b, and you should get the right answer. Ooh, that's right. So now you can, hopefully you wrote that down. I hope you wrote that down. Okay. I did 3 in class today, so we'll do 3 in class here. So it's 2, 5r plus 4. Well, once again, when you distribute, you're going to multiply by the number outside, or the entity, the number, the letter, whatever, outside of the parentheses is going to multiply everything in the parentheses. Okay? So 2 times 5r, 2 times 5 is 10. And since we don't know what the r is, we're just going to carry the r, okay? And now we're going to do 2 times positive 4. So 2 times positive 4 is 8. So we distributed the 2 to the 5r, and we distributed the 2 to the 4. So we came up with this answer, okay? 10r plus 8. Good work. All right. Now, here's the funny thing. In this particular problem, we can do a couple of things. You can have 7 distributed onto 2s, 1 plus 2s. You can put the 7 here, and you can distribute, or or you can actually have the 7 behind. You can have it, and it's the same thing. I'm still going to multiply it by this, and I'm going to multiply by this. In this case, it'll be 7 times 1 is 7, plus 7 times 2 is 14. And I'm going to bring down the s. So that is what the answer is going to be. And look, I put the 7 on the front the first time, but you can also put it in the back. All right, so I've given you 3 correct answers. Hopefully you did well on that, okay? And so that's what we did today in class. That's what we did today in class. So make sure you do 2.1 and use the link. Don't go to IXL and type it in. Use the link from Canvas. And we're going to do all of these assignments. I actually gave you a couple of tutorial videos here. And once again, we're not going to do HH10, but you should have done GG1. So that's what we worked on in class today. Hopefully this was helpful for you. All right, take care.